So okay, no, that's pretty clear. So you've been playing for quite a while, but you're not entirely happy with the way things are going. When you analyze, you don't like the way you. If you see yourself playing, you're not entirely happy with how that looks, and you want to get over that get through that glass ceiling. Basically, you feel like
Yes.
you're stuck, and think I can help with that. Well, I hope I can. So I'm gonna try and do exactly that. So the way I see melee and life in general actually is if you look at certain problems that we run into, right? There's this model in psychology that
Mhm.
basically says that any problem you have is manifested, is formed by the circumstances, the environment you're in, and the
Mhm.
way you personally cope with it. So you could even put it in like a mathematical formula basically and say that issue like problem equals and then personal style times environment. And the way I see it, in melee it's pretty much no different. So that's how I'm going to try and figure out with you what the exact problem is. So
Mhm.
I am I actually drew. I'm gonna make an analogy for you. I'm gonna write this down and I'm gonna put my just excuse my crappy drawing, but I'm going to explain to you what this is. So the eye is an issue, right? Your
Mhm.
issue in this case is whatever your skill level is or whatever you're unhappy with. And
Mhm.
that's created by this little C, which are the circumstances you're in. And that can be maybe I don't know, you're unable to practice enough or you didn't sleep enough or whatever it is, right? And then
Yes.
combined with how you deal with it, this little P is basically what the result is. So we're going to try and figure out what exactly the problem is. Okay?
Hmm.
So imagine yourself, imagine you are a dam, basically, like you see here.
Yes.
And as a dam, your function is to basically keep water away, right? To keep it
Yeah.
away from a certain space. So your dam consists of any good quality you have. It can be you can be intelligent, you're smart, you're hardworking, you're anything that's good. All your qualities make up this dam, right?
Yeah.
And the circumstances you're in is basically the water you're trying to keep away. So if the water's low, if the circumstances are easy, I don't know, let's say you're in pools and you're way better than your opponent, it's easy, right? There's no problem. But as the
Hmm.
water level rises, as as the water level rises and the pressure basically starts building and building and building, your little dam starts cracking like this. Starts showing cracks, right?
Yeah.
And generally where it cracks is where it's the weakest. Like where the structural weakness is where it starts cracking and then the water pours out and you get the issue over here on this side. So
Mhm.
we're going to figure out what part of you is cracking first and then how to fix it. So if
Okay.
you had to describe your own, what would you say your strengths are as a person and as a player in Melee?
Hmm.
If you had to look.
Let me think just for a minute. Hmm. I think um, I think it's a quality that goes both in my personal life and in melee. I think I'm quite level-headed.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So you're calm?
I'm quite sensible, I think.
Okay. I'm going to
Uh,
write all of that down real quick. Level headed, sensible. Okay.
I think that's the most obvious quality I see.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, wait.
And what would you say is a quality you have as a person? Because you said that a lot of the things that you seem to struggle with also have to do not even with melee, but with how you actually yeah, like things you do outside of melee, right? Like where you don't
Hmm.
practice or when you try to analyze certain things happen. So what would you say your qualities are as a person? Are you somebody that is analytical or somebody that is hardworking? Like anything, like just your qualities in general.
Huh. Uh, I think I'm quite well. It sounds kind of maybe too easy, but I'm really into figuring out how things work.
Yeah.
I try to. Sometimes I go a little too in depth for my own good, and
Yeah.
maybe I waste effort in it. But I really like to
But
understand.
you like to
how,
figure out things like in depth, basically.
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay.
I like to, but sometimes it takes too much effort.
Yeah.
Or maybe I will get frustrated.
Yeah. We'll get to that part. Let's
Okay,
just
yeah.
let's stick to the upsides for now.
Okay.
So you're level-headed, you're sensible, you like figuring things out thoroughly. That's good. So anything else?
I don't think so.
No. Would you say do you how do you perform under pressure, for example, or are you easygoing or just anything?
Oh yeah. Well, I think I'm. Well, for instance, at work, I even under pressure, I tend to be the one who kind of tries to keep everyone calm.
Okay, calm under pressure. That's
Yeah.
good.
I don't think I'm. Yeah, I think I'm a little easygoing. Yeah, maybe a little too much.
Okay.
Sometimes.
So easygoing, like you said, sensible, level-headed, easygoing. Okay. Well, let's try and work with this for now. That's okay. I'm gonna write them in here, but my handwriting is absolutely terrible, so I'm gonna use paint for now. So I'm just gonna add all those things, all those qualities to your dam real quick. There we go. So we had, if I can find it. There we go. Level-headed, sensible, good at figuring things out, calm under pressure. These are good qualities to have. Easy going, right?
Yeah.
And what you're saying that you have trouble. So you've been playing for quite a while, right? You've been playing Melee for quite a while, and you seem to run into problems. Anyway, you can't challenge top players. That's what you said?
Yes.
Okay. So I would put that under an issue. So the issue is you can't seem to beat top players, right?
Yep.
Is that a good way to just define what the problem is?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Let's write that down then. Put that here. Cannot loses to top players. Do you feel like that is that generally the case, or is it only the case in tournament, or just always?
I think it's generally. I don't think I play much different in tournaments. Like I don't think I perform worse in tournaments. I don't really feel more stress in tournaments. It's just playing against top players in general will be hard for me.
Okay. Let's see. And why do you have? Are there particular characters that you struggle with when it's better players, or particular play styles, maybe stages or anything?
I think overall it's. I don't think I really have bigger difficulties against Fox, but I still think that Fox has, like, it must be one of Sheik's worst matchups. So I think that if it's a top player who plays Fox, I will, even before the sets starts, I will think, well, it's kind of doomed. But I feel like any good player playing any character can beat me. Like it's not a matter of I'm not just bad against certain characters. It's just I don't think I'm good enough overall.
Yeah. Okay. So if I so basically playing a good player is the circumstance, right? And
Sorry.
so basically playing any good player is where these issues basically happen. So you play any good player, then it ends up with you losing to them. Basically, is what you're saying. Okay,
Yes.
so if you look at all your good qualities, right? They're good. Being level-headed is good. Sensible is good. Figuring things out, etc. It's all good. But if you look at those qualities and you push them to their absolute limits, right?
Mm-hmm.
How could they work against you? Do you have an idea of what that would look like? Let's say you're a level-headed person. Is there a way where you're too level-headed to the point where it doesn't help you anymore?
Oh. Huh. No, I don't think so. You cannot be too level-headed.
Okay. And how about when you're sensible? Is that something that can turn into a situation where it's not as effective anymore, or where it doesn't do what you initially hope it would?
Well, I don't think so.
Because an example I can give for that is if you're level-headed, let's say you're a level-headed person and you don't really panic. You look at things from a normal standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's good to panic because you feel pressure to change. So if you're too level-headed in a situation where you actually do need to do something or do need to change, it can work against you. That's what I mean. So it's not that the level-headedness is a problem itself. It's that you're using it in a place where it's not as effective as a different strategy you might employ if you weren't as level-headed.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
So what exactly, you're also calm under pressure, you're good at figuring things out. You said that there were problems when you analyze games, right? Your own games. What happens exactly?
Sometimes I will just feel kind of overwhelmed because I will figure out what I mean. I will look at a situation and understand that I did something poor, and the problem is that maybe I do not have the, how to say, like I will see, for instance, a fox grabbing me, up throwing me, and a pair of strings and pushing me off stage.
Mm-hmm.
I will see this situation and I will be kind of overwhelmed because of the amount of interactions there are in this whole sequence.
Yeah.
And I will think that, well, I will try to figure out why I did get grabbed in the first place and if there was something to do against that. And then should I have DI'd this way or that way?
Yeah.
So overall, it's kind of an overload of information, and I just don't know what to do with it.
Okay, so you're good at figuring things out, but you analyze to the point where it's no longer useful because it's just too much information, right? You don't actually learn anything at that point because there's so many different possibilities you don't know how to apply it anymore. Is that correct?
That and also the fact that there are still many things that I don't know about the game, and maybe I could learn them. Maybe I should look for the documentation, but I still have trouble really going into that.
Okay. So as a problem, I could say, how would you formulate it? If I say you overanalyze, is that correct then? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Overanalyzing. Don't know what you don't know. And the last thing you said is that you don't, something about information where you don't know where to find it.
Yeah, like when I will run into, I will see a situation and maybe I think, oh, well, maybe at that percentage I could have ASDI'd down that move, and I will not look into it really. I will just make a mental note, like maybe I should try next time to ASDI down, but I will not memorize the percentages at which certain options become viable and some others don't. And so I would, to formulate it, I would say maybe I just cannot, well, how to say, I don't, Yeah, I don't know how to formulate it. I just can't find the knowledge. Can't really learn. Yeah, I cannot remember everything.
Yeah. So you can't remember everything. So if you're good at figuring things out and there's too much information and you only rely on that skill, the ability to figure things out, you can get stuck in trying to figure out certain things that you might not be able. If there are 50,000 things that somebody can do, but only 3 are relevant, then figuring the whole thing out is going to be a waste of time, right?
Yes.
And I feel like that's a little bit where you then struggle. Okay. So, if that's the main issue, then I think that what you generally need, or what I might be able to help you with, is trying to direct basically what you're going to learn, rather than like focus what you need to learn rather than learning everything, right? You have to sort of, you need the ability to filter out the things that are not relevant, basically, right?
Yes.
Because of course there are a lot of different ways interactions can play out, but not all of them are equal. Some are more likely, some are more logical. So knowing every single one is not necessarily beneficial for a player. Because if anything, you might actually start hesitating because you think about so many different possibilities, even though there's one that is significantly more likely than all the others, right?
Yeah.
So that could be something. Is that something you would want to focus on then?
Yes, that sounds good. Kind of knowing how to focus my my energy, my efforts.
Yeah. Okay. So we need to learn how to focus on the things that matter rather than every single detail that may or may not be relevant, right?
Yes.
Okay. I have one quick question then. Is there any player or any particular play style that you look up to or want to emulate or want to play as, for example? Is there some way you think the game would be fun to be played or you think would be beneficial to you, or do you just want to get better, period?
I don't think there is a particular play style that I like more than others. I just know that, of course, well, you're Chic, Club's Chic, and recently I've seen Spark and Captain Faithful. And of course, you all play a little different, but
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to learn from everyone, and I don't think I want to. I don't really believe in that I could have really a play style. I just want to play the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Explain.
Okay. All right. Then I have one last question real quick. Are you more the type of player that thinks about the game before you play? Well, I think you are, based on what you said, and then you try to execute that, or are you more reactionary / creative? Do you have a game plan, or do you try to figure it out on the spot?
Well, I wouldn't say, like, I don't want to say it's really a game plan because with the little, like, I feel I have really little knowledge, and sometimes I don't even really know at what percentage I want to put the opponent before doing this or that option. But I still try to enter the game in a certain mindset, enter the set even stage-wise. I will try to have a plan before going into the set. Yeah. But I still try to improvise in a way that I can sort of adapt to what is happening during the games. Like I will try to look for patterns and things that I can exploit.
Okay, so if we look at this game, right, against Paulo in this case, I have an idea of what is going wrong, but I'm curious, what is your game plan in general if you play Fox, let's say on this stage as a Sheik? What kind of details do you pay attention to when you play, if any?
Well, first I try to see if they're what's their plan when I'm far away from them, because some foxes will really like to throw lasers until I approach them, and some will just sort of dash dance in a safe range
Yeah.
until I commit and try to punish it with like a full hop drill
Yeah.
or anything. So I will try to look for that. And overall, I try to, like, I know that the best tools that I have at low percent are my grab and my short hop there. So I will try to sort of mix up between my different, well, these two tools to rack up percents
Yeah.
until they become until they have high enough percent so that I can knock them down or combo them.
Okay.
And as far as needles are concerned, I will use them mostly if they are not really aggressive. I will sort of give them space, but do short ups and fast fall reverse needles to sort of gain some percent and give them the pressure them into attacking more so that I can try to stuff their approaches with bears.
Okay. Let's watch this game, and then if something goes wrong, we can talk about it and figure out why it happened, where we might have disagreed in philosophy, and if I can help you prevent that in the future. So let's see. So what you're saying, by the way, is so you're using needles and you're walling them out a little bit. You try to mix up like the timings for attacking, defending, and everything, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah. Well, in this game, I think Poilon is quite aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that happens.
Some misclicks.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. So I'm not. By the way, I'm not gonna stop at every single interaction that happens. But if I think that there's something that you're doing that might be not fundamentally wrong, but where I think you might miss like a certain bit of knowledge or theory, then I'm definitely going to comment on it. So
okay,
I just want to forward it a little bit. Okay, I have a question. So in this situation, okay, this waveland is great, right? In general, but then you try to grab him, you try to forward air, right? So I'm guessing those are two guesses. You're guessing if he's going to come in and try to grab, and then you preemptively throw out a forward air, right?
Yeah. Well, the grab, I should have boost grabbed, I think, because I think it was like he whiffed.
Yeah, he whiffed
the grab. So.
I think you could have probably boost grabbed him, but what I would say, the reason why I would not recommend this in general. Okay, I'm going to try and see if I can explain a few basic principles that I think you would benefit from in this particular game. So I'm going to write them down. I'm going to explain them and write them down, and then we can see if we can recognize them when they actually happen in game, right? So from what I saw when you were playing, you guess a little bit with 50-50s, but that can put you in danger, as we were talking about earlier. You attack in certain spaces, and if you realize that it's a little bit dangerous, you throw out a preventive hitbox to cover yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that unless that person isn't biting. So if you're throwing out hitboxes and a fox is just standing there and you whiff, that is when they punish you. So I think there's a few things that you should. I'm gonna put down a few things. So you are attacking from vulnerable distances and positions. So what I mean is there's a certain distance that any character has where they can react to you and punish you on reaction if you decide to attack and miss. So I'm going to call this, let me see if I can find a perfect frame for this. So, hold on. I'll find one and then I'll explain it properly. Let's see. Come on, get back to neutral, you guys. Real quick, please. Okay, forward. Let's see. Okay. Let's just do it like this. The way I see it, any character and any player has a little bubble around them. And for Sheik, it might be something like this. Like, this is the distance. Something like this. If somebody is inside that bubble, they cannot react to you attacking them. Ever. It's not human. If they're there, if they're in that distance and you decide to randomly dash attack them, they cannot block you. Period. Right? And that has to do with human reaction time and Sheik's attack speed, basically. And for every character, such a bubble exists, right?
Yes.
And so for Fox, it might be a little bit bigger because he's a little bit quicker. It might be something like this. And as you can already see, they start overlapping at some point. But I have a feeling, at least I'm not sure if it's true, but the way I see it in this game in particular is that you are not entirely aware of how big that bubble is for you or for your opponent. And because of that, sometimes when people dash dance right outside your bubble or they do something right outside your range, you preemptively throw something out. And if somebody predicts that and you are in their bubble, you're dead. Because the way you have to see it, this bubble, so this reactionary zone, right, is something like, is about the size that I just drew. But the second you throw out an attack,
it shrinks.
Yours not only shrinks, this one gets bigger because you're in a lag. So if you throw out an attack and he's at this distance, he has more than enough time to run at you before you can do anything. So anytime you whiff, the bubble of your opponent just grows. And a very, very basic example of this is if you're on the opposite side of FD as a Fox and watching a Captain Falcon, obviously you can't hit him before he does anything, right? But if he Falcon punches and you start running, you can hit him on reaction before he can move. It's because your bubble gets 1,000 times bigger because he's Falcon punching, right?
Not true.
So it's no different. With Falcon punching, it's really, really obvious, but it goes for every single attack you can throw. It goes for aerials, it goes for needles, it goes for anything you do. It goes for jump squat, it goes for landing, it goes for anything. So I want you to, we're both going to look at certain situations where you got hit and see if you could have predicted that in a way, or if it was wise to attack from that position based on positioning. Okay?
Yeah.
See if we can figure out what's going wrong. Okay. That was one.
The dare?
The dare, yeah. Like, this is fine. You can do it, but it's a gamble because you're going to land in a spot where he's going to hit you before you can do anything.
Yeah.
It's actually the same in this case. So what I would recommend to you in this particular spot, let's say you get hit once, right? Now you are both in each other's bubble, right?
Yeah.
You're in his, he's in yours, and it's fun. Neither of you can react to anything that's happening. If you down smash him or up smash him or he shines you, you're just gonna get hit. So there are two things you can do. You can either attack, which is risky, or just move. And I would recommend the second part if you play somebody like Fox, because of the same reason. Like, if you play, I think that's the main difference when you play top players, because you're saying that you have trouble playing top players and you can't seem to beat them. This is most likely one of the reasons why. It's because top players are pretty aware, most top players are very aware of when they are in a reactionary zone or not. And if they can't react, they move. And if you can't react, you throw out a move preemptively and leave yourself open. So you get into a 50-50 where you might win or might lose, where better players just go like, nope, I don't want to be in this situation. I'll put up my own offense and attack when it's preferable for me and not good for you. And this is a really good example of that. Like, he throws out his shine, but his shine beats just about anything. So you had no business attacking here, basically. And that's what happens immediately. There we go again. See? Same thing. So if I look at this, hold on. You jump. Where's Fox's bubble if you attack and land, would you say?
Well, I think it goes about, well, really far. Like, well, he has to punish me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no matter what I do, he can do anything he wants. Like, it goes, I think his bubble goes like to the left side of FD now.
Yep. But that's only because you throw out an attack.
Yeah,
if
right.
you didn't nair, it would be this. And then you could have landed here. And you'd be fine.
Wave land or, yeah.
But you threw out a nair and Fallon was like, well, we take those. So being aware of whether or not you can and should attack is something that's going to help you tremendously. And I'm pretty sure we can... I'm just going to let the game play. And if you feel like you see a situation where this particular thing happens again, then we'll pause it and we can talk about it. I'm not going to pause it too much, but we're just going to let it play. And maybe I'll say something like, oh, it happened again or something along those lines, but we're just going to let it play. See if we see anything else. That's a good tech chase.
Oof.
You know what's funny?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. This is where he did it. Now, he's expecting you to land. This is pretty much the same situation as you saw earlier. Did I just close my own EpiPen? I think I did. I don't know. Hold on. I closed my EpiPen. I want my EpiPen back. So earlier, like I said, he had this little bubble around him. You threw out an aerial and it became like this, right?
Yeah.
I think he's expecting you to do the same thing again. So he's expecting you to land, and he's like, I'm just gonna fucking punish you immediately. And then you jump. This is the only reason he attacked is because you did it earlier. And now you actually basically switch the whole thing around because now your bubble is like,
yeah,
bam, like this.
And he's stuck in dash attack.
And you hit him. So the whole game is basically this. In this case. Well, it's not the whole game. It's a really important part of the game. It's not the whole thing. But just try and keep that in mind. By the way, if there's something else, if you feel like you get this part, or there's something else you would rather talk about or see or ask, feel free to.
Okay, yeah. For instance, I'd like to know like that edge guard on Fox.
This one. Oh wait, it already happened. Let's go back a little bit further. Here, this?
I think so. Yeah, I think that was it.
This one.
Yeah. So, well.
I think you could have faired him.
Oh yeah. Okay. Maybe. Yeah.
I think you could have. I don't know for sure, obviously, but it looks like you could have. I think if you dash, you can get him, but you jump too early.
Yeah.
But what did you want to ask?
About his B.
Yeah.
So when he starts being like he's above the ledge.
Yeah.
I think that's Wait, is that the one? Like when I throw a needle. Oh no, yeah.
Oh, this one. Yeah. So you want to know how to deal with that particular situation.
Yeah, because
so
I think I'm too late anyway. Like I can't cover everything now. I cannot grab the ledge.
Yeah.
And he can either go up or down.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a stupid question because there's no real answer.
There's no stupid questions. So what? So yeah, go ahead, ask the question. I'll see if I can answer it.
What I was thinking is, I was just gonna ask what would you do but it depends on your opponent and what he has done before in the match. I think
a little bit, but there's definitely a general principle that I try to stick to. Mm-hmm. So, as you said, Fox is here. You don't have time to go out, and you can go like this. You can go straight down. You can go here. He has 1,001 angles, right?
Hmm.
But so in theory, it's entirely impossible to cover everything. It just is.
Yes.
But you can prioritize these different angles in a way that allows you to react to as many as possible.
Okay, yeah.
So what angle is impossible for you to react to if he takes it? Ledge. This one you can't react to. If he goes there and you only start moving after you see him go there, he'll grab the ledge before you can do anything, right?
Yeah, I can't react to it, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first one you have to cover. This is number 1. What would you say, like most people, there's 1,000 angles you can do, but generally people either go ledge,
Yeah.
straight at you, straight, or some angle up, right?
Yeah.
So it's 4 options. You can reduce it to basically 4 basic options, right?
Yeah.
So what I would do in your case is short hop, throw a needle
Yeah.
towards basically to stop this angle. Because if he takes that angle, the needle hits him.
Yes.
Right? If he goes straight, you land, miss the needle, run and dash attack or grab him anyway. So if you cover this one with a short hop needle, it allows you to react to this one and that one. This one will fuck you up, guaranteed. You can't stop all of them. But basically what I'm saying is, if you're in a situation where you feel like you can't cover every single option and you know there's plenty of them, try to cover them in order of basically speed. And it's no different. I'll probably get back to that in maybe future problems or whatever. But in this case, because this one is the fastest, this diagonal angle towards the ledge is the fastest, that's the first one you cover. And you cover it with the fastest option you have that allows you to still react to other options.
It does, yeah.
So short hop needle covers this. If he goes straight, if he goes up, you still get him. If he goes towards you, he probably wins. But given the fact that you're behind and his percentage and your percentage, it's probably worth doing it anyway. And what I would say, if you had a needle storm, you can do even something. You can do something better, by the way. If you had a needle storm, you could full jump needle storm.
Yeah.
Because there's so many needles, you could basically either he gets hit by the needle with whatever angle he takes, or he goes up and then you react and kill him anyway. So with a needle storm, you could cover everything. But with a single needle, I would cover this one first and then react to everything else, if you can.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I guess it's a really good idea because the ledge gives so much strength to fuck.
Yep. No, exactly. But it's similar to. It's a similar principle to punishing people that land on platforms. For example, I'm gonna draw like the worst possible platform you've ever seen, but it's gonna be fun. So you have a platform. Let's say you get somebody on a platform, right, and they have to tech here, right? They can tech in place, they can tech roll, they can do get up and everything else. What do you cover first?
In place or no tech yet.
Yeah, you down there here, and if they tech chase somewhere, you go there. You can't cover this one first because then you can't get tech in place. It's no different in this case. If you don't cover this one first, this is tech in place. If you go for anything else than this and they take this, you lose. So you do this first and then you react to everything else.
Okay.
So, is that clear?
Sense. Yes.
All right.
Oof.
Yeah, I was not gonna pause everything, but I feel like it's still necessary.
Right now, I threw a move.
Yeah, well, that move is fine, but you tried to trick him. I think I'm gonna. Well, let me just first explain what I wanted to show in this case. This was good. You waveline. What reason did you waveline forward? Do you know?
I think it's. Generally speaking, I try to waveland to kind of be at an unexpected spacing.
Yeah.
Generally, I will waveland back, but right now I felt like he would try to be right outside the range of my landing because like right now I could have landed with the back air.
Yeah.
So I think I felt like that, but I can tell because it was too fast. But I think that
Mm-hmm.
if I bared, he was right outside of my range right now.
Yeah.
And with the wavelength, I gain like 1 or 2 meters, and I can catch him outside of this range.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I
I get it. The reason why this didn't work, do you have an idea? If you have to think about those zones that I was talking about, the reactionary zones and everything, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if a person could see those zones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you waveland towards them. What do you think they would do?
Dash away.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
So I think what you would benefit from, and what I would say would probably be good as homework in this case, is to try and be more aware of those zones. Like I said, I can write it down as well. See, I've given this theory in Dutch, but not in English, so I don't even know my own terms, which is weird. I'm just gonna call it an unreactable zone. And reactable zone. So yeah, I think for now, what would benefit you, or at least what I think you can practice with, is trying to recognize where these zones are. So you have, like I said, you have a little bubble around you, somewhere around, for Sheik it's basically dash attack range. So what is it here? Somewhere. Except this is not really good because people can crouch cancel you, so it's a little bit less effectively. But what I would recommend to you is try and figure out what those zones are. And it is basically however far you can. It's slightly different per person, so it's a little bit hard to define it exactly, right? Because it's a zone that it's a little bubble where somebody can attack you in, and if they were to attack you with whatever their quickest attack is at that point, and you cannot react to it, humanly speaking, then that's an unreactable zone. So what I want you to do is try and figure out what that is for you. And when you play someone, try and play around with that zone. And what I mean by that is, when you're outside of a zone, when you're outside of this unreactable area, you can move however fast you want. You can do whatever you want, it's fine. But as soon as you start entering like a zone where your opponent can nair you out of shield or nair you in your face and you cannot react to it, try and proceed with slightly more caution. Be a little bit more mindful when you're there. Because the thing is, even though people don't know this theory, like, oh, there are zones where you cannot react, they feel them. Everybody does. There's a reason why if somebody dash dances right in front of you, and I could show you this in game. Maybe we should. Maybe that's a good idea. Yeah, let's. Hold on. Let's start up Dolphin so I can clearly explain it to you. It's entirely different when somebody talks about it than when somebody actually shows it to you. So I'm gonna open Slippy. Close this real quick and this thing, and then I'm going to enter your code, and I'm going to show you something real simple, and then you can play around with that a little bit.
Okay.
So your code
Enn,
ENN
and 486.
486. So mine is Amsah 376. So AMSAH. No H. Never mind. AMSA. I'm used to spelling my name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can have a fifth letter. Sorry.
Yeah.
And 376. Okay.
Yeah. So let's see. So what I'm talking about is simply this. If I ask you, hey, shield on reaction, right? And I do this. Do you feel any pressure to shield?
No.
None, right? Zero. What if I do it here?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
The fact that if you dash dance from afar, and like if you shot up and nair from this far, I can react.
You can react. From here, you can't.
Yeah.
So you immediately feel pressure. Most people do this. They're like, I shielded for no reason. They start rolling, spot dodging, whatever they do. But it's because they feel that they're under pressure. And the only reason they feel that they're under pressure is because of that range that we were talking about just now. So what I want is for you to, well, hopefully be a little bit more aware of that little fact, for one. And then see if you can use it to pressure people. Because a lot of people always ask me, like, how do you, for example, people are like, how can you be aggressive with Sheik or with Marth or anything that's not a spacey? It's positional pressuring. That's all you have to do. You don't have to throw like, you don't have to go like this or do anything crazy in order to pressure people's shield. If you move here and I'm in shield, I'm in pressure. Because where am I supposed to do? If I jump, you can hit me and I can't react to it, etc. You can grab me at any time. So people feel forced to do something. So, yeah, I think that's something that you can play around with.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, I should try to not attack if I'm not sure it will hit.
Yeah, and not just that. Also, not run into people's zone. Like, for example, let's say I'm dash dancing here. What you did was basically, Wallon's here, and he can do whatever he wants. And you wave land straight into this range. It's like, why would you? Then you're in lag, you're wave landing, and if I dash attack, you can't react to it. So, being a little bit more aware of what positions you put yourself in could go a long way. And yeah, I think that's for now probably something you should focus on most.
Okay, yeah, that's like I can understand the concept. I think doing it is something else.
Yeah, no, definitely. But that is something we can practice. Let's see. I can probably think of a way for you to practice this. I've done this before. Let's see. Yeah, I figured out a way for you to practice. It's something that you probably actually already do. You say that you throw out baits so that you want to punish people, right?
Yep.
So you throw out an aerial. You hope like you whiff an aerial on purpose or something, and then you hope they do something and you can punish them, right?
Yep.
That is using that zone. And what I want you to do is pretty much that, except do it more mindfully. So be aware of what you're doing. Be aware of how you're baiting them and why it works. Because just being able to do it, that's good. If you know, like if you do a backer here, you can dash attack them because they whiff and you know that works. But if you understand the actual mechanics behind it, one, you can do it more effectively. And two, you can recognize when you break your own rules and when it's being done to you.
Yeah, it's true. I think even if I do it, it's most of the time I will just try to stuff a move after I land or something. So yeah, it's not even as if I was really trying to exploit that. It's just like I panic, I think.
And it generally, the way people usually figure this out is trial and error. Like people play, they press buttons, they do things, and then at some point they do something that works. They're like, oh, this works, and they keep doing it, and it works. It's kind of how evolution works. You just happen to land on the right answer, and then that's what you do. But knowing why it works and being able to engineer it yourself will make it that much more powerful. That's one. And like I said, you will be able to avoid it slightly better, know when you make mistakes, know how to actually adjust in order for that to not happen again. Because like I said, I've watched a few of your games, and most of the issues that you had, at least in the Fox game, stem from the fact that you were, even though you're using it obviously, there are certain cases where Paulo would be standing here and you would miss an aerial, for example, and he would be unable to react or not react, and you're like, oh my god, he can still hit me, and then you throw it down tilt and then he punishes you.
Yeah.
Right? So
when I was not in such a bad space in the first place, when I miss my first move, I'm not instantly in a bad space.
Yeah, exactly.
I try to cover it.
Yeah, and then you're in a bad space. Exactly. So like Because the thing is, like I said, I'm gonna start drawing again because I like drawing. Um, hold on. An example of that, or an example. I'm gonna explain to you why that is, even though you probably have somewhat of an idea. Yeah. I'm gonna use this beautiful color again. Like you said, if you, oh wait, do you have two screens by any chance?
Yes.
Okay, so you can still see me.
Yes.
Can I write here? No, I can't write over this. Damn.
Oh.
Never mind.
Because it's full screen.
Wait, maybe I can. I'm gonna move this to the other screen.
Oh wait, but Sleepy is gonna
take that. Oh wait, no, this is not good. Yeah, this is. Never mind. Let me see. Let me see if I can. Oh, I can draw like this. If I'm not full screen, I can draw. It's all good. We're good. We're good.
Okay.
So yeah, no. What I was saying is, if you were saying that if you land, you're not necessarily in a bad spot, right? And that is entirely true because, like I said, when you throw out an aerial, let's say this is your normal unreactable. Well, if you're in the air, let's say your normal unreactable zone is basically the range of your aerials, something like this, right?
Yes.
And Fox his zone is a different one. It's like something like this. As soon as you throw out an aerial, his gets bigger, right? But if you fade back with an aerial and you land as far away from him, because there's a hitbox between you guys, he can't run through it. So he has to go either over it or wait before you land. But if you land and he has to wait for the aerial to be gone or he has to go over it, you have time. You get more time because he can't go through here. So even though his reactable zone is slightly bigger, he can't effectively use it because there's a hitbox in his face. And if you realize that, you don't have to throw out the follow aerial or the following tilt or whatever you were throwing. So, yeah, that's something to play around with. And I was going somewhere with this whole rant, but I don't remember. Hold on. You were saying, let's just leave it at that. That's fine. So when you land with an aerial, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are not safe. So you have to really look at the positioning exactly. Look at where you're fading towards, look at where he is, look at the length of your hitbox, and then try to figure out, like, okay, can he get to me before I can do something? And if the answer is no, try not to panic.
Okay. Yeah, I think I can do that, yeah.
Okay.
I just have to pay more attention to exactly. Yeah, well, I mean, I was just going to rephrase what you just said.
But that's fine. If you get the concept, then that's good, because I think once you really master that part, where you understand how the distancing works and when people are under pressure and when they're not, that's when you can start really using it. Because most top players, because that you said that's basically the one thing you run into. Because I've seen you play Maxi, I've seen you play Jaraiden, I've seen you play Palo. It's not that you have the ability to actually beat people in game. Like you're fast, you're quick, you do a lot of things really well. It's just that if you neglect this part or if you're unaware of this part, it will be used against you. But I feel like if you first try and become more aware of this and try to use it actively, you will notice that you can start not just predicting what people will do based on your positioning, you can make them do things by positioning. The way you wave landed, I could literally predict that Paulo was going to move away. I knew it because he's under pressure. You're moving towards him, he's like, nope, I don't want to deal with this. And if you understand that, then you could have boost grabbed, basically overshot your dash attack, because you know he's going to move away because you're putting pressure on him. And that's when the game starts becoming a real chess game. But we'll get into that at some point, I'm sure.
Okay, yeah. Can't wait to try that.
Yeah. So, was that clear?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's a concept that it's funny because it was I had a friend back in my hometown who started playing Melee after me, so he was like, I would constantly beat him, but he would still like he had an approach to the game that was very interesting. And this concept, I think he can talk to me about it. But I think I didn't really understand as much at the time. But he sort of he introduced me to this concept. I just didn't do anything with it because I didn't know really how to exploit that.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. This basically what I'm teaching and what I want to teach you and pretty much anyone that is interested is not necessarily a melee concept. It goes for anything that is interactive between people. It works in boxing, it works in MMA, it works in other fighting games, it works in football, which isn't even fighting, but it's the same concepts. It's all about knowing positioning, knowing where people can and cannot react, pattern recognition, and how to use it against people and how to not fall for it yourself. So this is tip of the iceberg, I'd say. But I think it's a nice place to start. So
yeah, I think it is too, and I will try that as soon as possible.
Okay.
And yeah, next month I won't throw F-tilts after we go back here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Do you have any other questions or things you want to say or maybe something you want to focus on in particular, or any feedback from me would be nice as well?
Well, I don't have any further questions. I mean, I think that there's tons of things I can work on, but one thing at a time.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for explaining this concept to me. It was very clear.
Yeah.
I think it was very insightful.
All right. I'm happy.
And yeah, just thank you. Oh yeah, and my first big tournament was ESA 2.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
That's a good one to start.
Yeah.
That's fun. All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna write down a few things that we discussed, and yeah, I'm gonna wish you luck with practicing what we talked about. And if you have questions about this, feel free to ask me on Discord. I don't mind explaining it again or giving you a few more pointers in the right direction. Yeah. So I think that was our first lesson then. I hope you enjoyed it.
And I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure thing. All right. Then I'll see you next time.
Yep. See you.
All right, man. Bye.